Tragedy in Maine, where a mass shooting has left at least 22 dead and as many as 60 wounded. Police say this happened at multiple locations, including a bar and a distribution center in the town of Lewiston, which is about 35 miles north of Portland. Also, police say the gunman, believed to be a trained armed instructor with the National Reserves or the Army Reserves, is still on the loose, and much of the area is still in lockdown.
Right now, let's get the latest from the scene and dip into live coverage from our sister station, WCSH in Portland, Maine.
Outside here out of Central Maine Medical Center, this is the hospital, the closest location to where that shooting took place, taking on the bulk of the victims here in this shooting that claimed the lives of 22 people here in Lewiston this evening. And as we've been talking throughout this night, much more of a tragedy than Lewiston. It involves Maine and the nation here as we reel in the loss of these 22 people. But standing outside here of Central Maine Medical Center earlier, as I said, we saw dozens of people waiting outside to find out any details on their loved ones, people giving their names of their loved ones, people working here to see if their loved one is in there or if their loved one survived or not from that shooting that took place, with the suspect still on the run there, with the entire Androscoggin County under a lockdown. And as you guys have said, that man that is on the loose, police are saying to look out for the man named Robert Card. You guys saw his photo there. And we've seen those photos. He's believed to be driving a white Subaru with a black bumper. He's around 40 years old. He should be considered armed and dangerous. Again, just a quick reminder for that. But to my left here, you could see the main entrance of the hospital. You see armed security guards there. They have been standing there now for the last 2 hours, making sure people can enter and leave safely. You can only imagine, just imagine the sensitivity and the shock that parents and families are facing as they approach this hospital to understand more about the situation and how it may have impacted their loved one. Nurses, first responders, doctors that we've seen walking in and out of here have just been it's hard to describe what's going on here because it's just been such pure shock. We've talked about this often, how you prepare for this every day, but when the day comes like this, it's totally different. You know, some of those people that were staying out here are still waiting for answers to see if their loved one is safe or not. We spoke with a woman named Julie who moved to Lewiston when she was 17 years old. Last we spoke to her, she still does not know if her son is alive or dead. And she said he was in that shooting at Schmenge's bar here in Lewiston. And she said she showed up here when she heard her son was shot, and she's still waiting to hear more. Let's go in and hear a little bit of what she has to say.
My ex-husband and my son were playing pool, and next thing I know, I saw on Facebook that there was a shooting at Schmenge's where they were playing, and then nobody would tell us anything. Just go to CMMC. His wife, his son, my ex-husband are here. Friends are here. We're all waiting, and we've heard nothing. They won't tell us if he's alive, if he's in critical condition, if he's passed. They won't tell us anything.
They told us that this is an active shooting. And while so many people, just like Julie, are just trying to understand the situation, us here are also trying to understand the gravity. It's hard to wrap your head around the pure human loss of life that has happened here. All the while we're talking about this, there have been multiple Life Flight helicopters landing here at Central Maine Medical Center. It is one of the sources for Life Flight helicopters. We've seen at least more than a dozen over the last 2 hours fly in and out of here, seemingly transporting patients out of here. But as we've been talking, it's an important reminder for our audience that there still is an active lockdown here in Androscoggin County. That means lock your doors, do not drive, stay inside as much as you can, and keep following for updates from law enforcement and us here on News Center as we try our best to learn more information that's going down here. But for now,
we have been watching live coverage from our station WCSH in Portland, Maine, and as you heard there, a frightening night in that city of Lewiston and Portland with a man, Robert Card, 40 years old, believed to be on the run. He is believed to be a trained arms instructor from the National Reserves. 22 people at least have been killed. 60 people have been wounded. Multiple shootings tonight in several locations, including a bar, a bowling alley, and a distribution center. And as you heard right there, he is still on the loose.
And we know that schools are in lockdown in that area, Androscoggin County. Also, that hospital, Maine Med Hospital, is essentially in lockdown as well, as families are trying to get that information on the loved ones that are coming and going from there. Obviously, a very active situation that continues to unfold tonight. We'll continue to keep an eye on what's happening there, and of course, we will have the latest on this tomorrow morning at GO, starting at 4:30.
Definitely. We did hear late tonight that the President Biden, Biden, who is holding a state dinner tonight for the Australian Prime Minister, was told in that dinner as to what's going on, and the administration is also monitoring the situation. As Betsy said, more information on air and online as it becomes available.